Alright, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You guys already know what time it is. And right here, we got Dallas, Texas owned. We got Painted Light right here, live on the radio station airwaves. Guys, how are you doing tonight? Jake, Rick, and Ben, hope all is well out there in the beautiful state of Texas.
We're hanging in there, and thanks for having us. We really appreciate going on with you.
Yeah, we're doing great. You're actually talking to me from Ohio, so we're in different states at this time.
Well, how's Ohio actually, Jake? I do know you seem pretty busy out there. Like, how's Ohio treating you?
Ohio's great. So if you've heard of the band Rookie of the Year, I'm playing guitar with them on their tour, and that's been an absolute blast. And the reason I'm hot and sweaty is because we were staying at a hotel on Ohio State University's campus, and so I just went and I just walked around the horseshoe, because I'm a huge college football fan. And so I was like walking around there, and there were a bunch of geese outside. So I took pictures of like the geese with the stadium. It was cool. But yeah, it's great. It's still hot as hell up here though. I was like, man, I thought I could get away from the heat, but no.
And I gotta ask, Jake, how did you actually land the opportunity to actually work with Rookie of the Year? I mean, I was gonna bring that up anyways, but since we're on the topic, might as well get that question right out of the way.
Yeah, so I got booked, Painted got booked for a show in Pennsylvania, and it had to be me just acoustic. And then Ryan from Rookie of the Year got booked to play acoustic. This was last year, and we were the two touring bands, and we just had a blast hanging out. And, afterwards, I was like, man, your set ruled. And Ryan was like, man, your set ruled. And then he was like, you want to play guitar for me? And I thought it was just like a joke. Right. And then he was like, hey, we're touring this summer. You coming? And I was like, what? And then I was like, yeah, I guess I am. And it's been really cool because Ryan's been really cool to Painted Light, and the Rookie of the Year manager loves Painted Light. So it's been really cool. It's kind of like our brother band, and they needed a guitarist, and I have a blast doing that too.
I gotta say, congratulations on that, man. Such a huge opportunity to be able to just run with Rookie of the Year. But with that being said, I gotta dive into the Painted Light side of things, man. What's the story behind Painted Light? Like, how did you three actually meet?
Well,
Jake and I met well over 9 years ago. We were actually co-workers at like a mortgage servicing place, and we just started talking about like different interests in music and so forth. And maybe you could add something to it, Jake, but we were just kind of trading different influences back and forth, and just as shooting the bull. And he was talking about he needed a bass player for his project that he was working on. And I'm like, oh, I play bass, right? So it was kind of like karma that we got together, and all these years later we're still going strong.
So mind you, my take on that story is Ben's over there showing me this like super awesome, mind-blowing music that I've never heard from like the 70s and 80s, because Ben is the father of Painted Light. I'm the middle child, and then Rick is the baby of Painted Light, along with Brian. But he's showing me all this cool stuff. I start talking about my band and how I'm trying to get things going. And then like 6 months later, he's like, I'm a bassist, and I'm like a touring musician, and I've toured all over. And I'm like, why did you just tell me that? and then he comes over, and keep in mind at this point, we've been trying out bassists, and they just haven't worked out because Painted Light stuff isn't very easy music. And Ben just came in, and immediately he knew exactly what to do. He was in the right key. Some of the songs that we were trying to show him, and we'd try and have him move along with us, he made significantly better. So our minds, me and the drummer at the time, our minds were like completely blown, and we were completely shocked. And then it was nuts. It was the best experience, and me and Ben were already great. Like, we were best friends from work, so there was no weirdness. Like, most bands just find a good musician. That's that's uh that's the exact opposite of Painted Light. Like, Painted Light is people who like each other, and we just happen to be musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and then Rick.
And also, Mark.
Rick. Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, no, my apologies. Go on. My apologies.
Rick, you say your take on it for us.
Well, for me, so I used to be with another band, and then we had a show up here in Dallas, and I met Jake because I was like, man, we need a band for the bill. So when I was looking up bands, people were recommending Painted Light to me, and I was like, well, let me yeah. So then I checked them out, and I was like, yo, this music is great. Like, it's it's really good, really outgoing. I was like, hell yeah, like I love this. So I messaged Jake, and then he was like, yeah, man, I can go up and do a show solo. And that's just how we met at the show. And I was there, I saw his host set, and then we just kind of became friends that day. And then ever since, I don't know, it just kind of took off from there. And eventually, we were just hanging out, and we were both, love music. And he was just kind of like, hey, want to come and play with us?
Yeah, because we were already hanging out, and he told me the story about what went down with his band, and it wasn't the greatest ending, but Rick is the greatest guy. And so we were like, man, that sucks. You're such a good dude. And then he came out. It was just going to be for fun. And then everyone at the show was totally blown away. So Rick plays trumpet. You haven't heard him on a record yet just because he just joined. But he plays trumpet, and it really fills it out a lot. Don't think like ska music. Think like, I don't know, think someone writing orchestration that just has brass in it. And that's what Rick does. And so he'll take kind of like what Ben's doing on the bass, and then he'll put the high end on it, and it's nuts. It's just huge. But yeah, we were friends. Our wives hung out. We all hang out, and then we were just like, hey, you want to play a show? And then everyone in the crowd was like, that guy is nuts. And we were like, yeah, he is.
And also as well, guys, March 11th of 2022, you actually released the 11-track album titled Comfort in the Consistency. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about the story behind this album, and of course, where can we actually snag ourselves a copy if it is indeed still available today?
Ben, you want to take this one?
Well, I mean, this was kind of the we were at one point considered ourselves Man in the Raw. That was our original band, and we were kind of recording. We started recording these tracks. Jake wrote a good part of them due to some family experiences and so forth. But it's some good raw stuff. But Comfort and Consistency you can get anywhere. You can stream it on all platforms, Spotify and all that kind of stuff. So you could easily get to it. Guys, I mean, listen to it. Let us know what you think, because I mean, we really put our hearts into it, and we hope you guys really like it.
The physical album is sold out, so you can't find the physical anywhere. We're not sure if we're going to release our next EP on a label or independently, but however we do that, we'll probably repress some stuff from Comfort in the Consistency too. Mm-hmm. But instead of doing like a tape run like our last label, Friend Club Records, did, we'll probably do like a vinyl run. Right. That's the plan. That's the path. Like, tapes are cool. We might do that too, but vinyl is going to be like the bigger deal.
And also as well, March 11th. My goodness, sorry. So February 14th, 2024. I'm totally getting my dates mixed up here. You guys actually released the amazing single titled Keeps You Up alongside Jeff Suffering, Wrath of Dead Monkeys, and many others. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this amazing recent song, and of course, what was it like working with so many other legendary artists and musicians, man? Because I'm telling you, this song is packed full of so many artists.
Yeah, so this one's all due to Furnace Fest. So Furnace Fest is this amazing hardcore punk rock emo festival in Alabama that Painted Light's been a part of for the last 3 years. And last year at Furnace, we did a closing brunch with Dave from May, if you know who May is, or like indie emo stuff. And Jeff's band, who did the guest vocal, like crazy screams and cool harmonies, his band is called 90 Pound Wuss, and those other bands listed there are Jeff's other bands. He just has a lot of really, really good projects with different artistic perspectives on it. And I got to see his band play. Then I went to go do guest vocals with another band, so I didn't get to see his whole set. And I went up to him to talk to him the next day just to tell him, man, that was awesome. I've been waiting to see your band for 20 years. It was even better than I imagined it would be. And we just got to talking, and then he and I walked over to see this deathcore band called Zao. I'm not sure how to say it. But they were sick, so we walked over there. And then he came to see my show on Monday, the farewell deal. And he was like, dude, that was awesome. And your whole record is awesome. Comfort in the consistency of the one you're talking about. And then we just kept in touch. And then, Ben, at that point, Ben, didn't we get guest vocals done by someone else? I don't want to say who, but didn't we get the guest vocals back and we were like, well, it's not as crazy as we want it, or it wasn't as intense?
Right. And we want something with a little more oomph to it, and yeah.
And then Jeff's whole thing is like, that guy's like intensity personified. So it was perfect for the song. So Jeff did that. And then, do you know who the band MXPX is?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So their singer Mike Ferrero was really cool, and he engineered the Jeff's vocals, and he was kind of like, hey, try this, up in Washington State. And so he was engineering it. Jeff was in there laying down like the best tracks imaginable. And I mean, we did our vocals too, like Ben from our band, he was doing background vocals. I was doing some leads, sometimes some background vocals. And then Jeff came in with that extra explosive vocal stuff. And it blew us all away. We were like, man, this song rips.
Yeah, when I heard him do the part that I normally would sing, I'm like, damn, he sounds better than I do on that one. So I actually, on live shows, I copy him now as far as some of that intensity that he does, and it gets a good response live. Yeah,
it sure would be great if we could have Jeff sing that song like every time with us, Totally. I get to step back from the mic, he could do the explosions, and then we could keep on with it.
And I gotta ask before we move off the topic of this song, because obviously, like we just spoke about, there's so many artists and bands on this one particular song. How difficult was it for you guys to mix and master this song in the studio and put everything together and make everything coincide and sound so beautifully like it actually does with the finished product that us fans got the opportunity here? Because me as a DJ, just thinking how many artists and bands are on this, I can only think about how much work really went into behind the scenes of piecing this together to make it sound just as amazing as it does today. Yeah,
I mean, the reality is kind of a funny answer because all of those bands are Jeff's bands. So basically we just put it on there because we wanted Jeff to have a song that released at the same time that we did. So we wanted his bands to be like, hey, check this out. And then we wanted our exposure too. So it's actually just one guy. So the reason that it seems like there's so many artists is because we just wanted it to be like, we wanted all of his bands to know, hey, check this song out. And as far as the mixing process went, it was almost pre-mixed by our sound engineer, Jordan. He's from this band called Bad Lives in Dallas. They're fantastic. He's a genius when it comes to sound. And then it was also mixed, final mixing by Trenton Wheeler in Nashville, Tennessee. He's the singer of this band called Serin. So check out Bad Lives. That's Jordan's band. They're starting to get picked up pretty largely. They're fantastic. He just told me about some crazy business deal that they got that I can't announce right now. But let's just say this: you might be hearing Bad Lives in 2 months, but I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
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 And then Serin is spelled Seryn, so Seryn. Their singer did the actual mix. And yeah, they did a phenomenal job of making it really clear where you can hear all the different vocal parts, but also to where you can just get absolutely slammed, like boom, right in the face when those first yells come in. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And I do know as well that Serin, you guys actually teamed up with them as well to actually release a song called Sad Sad Summer, which is another absolute banger by you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, with that one, Serin used to play shows in my garage in Denton, Texas. Like, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And now they're, a Nashville-based band. They've had songs on like Disney movie trailers and stuff. They're obviously not, punk rock like our band is, but they write absolutely beautiful harmonies, and they're the guys that do the oh. That's Serin. That's like the whole band, because they have 4-part harmonies all the time. So they all 4 went in and recorded that background part. So it's fun.
And also, April 18th, you guys actually posted on Instagram where you actually said you were putting the finishing touches on your brand new EP. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about your up-and-coming EP. And of course, when can us fans actually expect this release? Because I do know, Jake, you said earlier on in the interview that you don't know exactly how you're going to release it yet, whether it's independent or if it's going to be through a label. But I got to dig, man. What can the fans expect from this album? Because if I don't ask it, I know the Painted Light fans are going to start chasing me down the street.
I'll let Rick and Ben answer this, just because we've been trying to finish it out and get it to sound like, we want it to sound just as good as Keeps You Up and Sad Sad Summer. But you guys take that, and then we'll go from there.
Just to add that the EP itself, I mean, the Sad Sad Summer and Keeps You Up are on it, so you already have a sneak peek of what to expect. But we are working on finishing touches on the mastering on certain things, just adding a little bit of extra magic to it to see what we can come up with. Hopefully we did have a label, but Friend Club did dissolve, unfortunately, so we're kind of in limbo with that as well. But it would be ideal if a label would pick us up and press vinyl and get us out there. But it is what it is.
Yeah, some of our buddies.
So my experience, with this record, I kind of came in late. I'm very recent, with Painted Light and the whole Painted Light family. But just kind of being part of the process of kind of being with them while we're just doing like hearing it and trying to fix some stuff or add some stuff. That's been really cool, and I think the record it's gonna be very, very fun. You already had like Ben said, you have a sneak preview with Sad Sad Summer and Keeps You Up. So if you kind of like that, you're definitely gonna like the rest of it that's on it. So it's very it's very raw, and I think it's going to be come out well, to the fans.
A little side fact on this one too. We're one of the few, I think, that nowadays we recorded it in a live setting first, without a click track. So that also kind of was cool. Awesome, but it also has its challenges, because when you do editing, you're not necessarily on a click track. So
you have to be perfect. which,
yes.
lucky for us, the drummer who did the album is pretty much perfect. He's a human metronome.
Yeah.
He was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah, 4 on the
Rick,
floor,
I have
baby.
to ask, man, because I do know. I gotta ask Rick, because obviously you're gonna be on this album, and I know Jake talked about you playing trumpet. How much trumpet is on this album? Because I do know a lot of punk rockers, they love cowbell. They always say I can't get enough cowbell, but I can already see it now. The moment the Painted Light fans hear this EP, they're not even gonna complain about cowbell. They're gonna be like, not enough trumpet. We need more trumpet. That's what you guys are gonna have to deal with for future records after this one. They're gonna start complaining that they need more trumpet.
Jake, you want to take this one?
That's exactly right. So we had everything done, and then so like Rick in the studio, Rick has basically been our strong point of like, hey, what do we all think? Like, what could be better here? What could be better there? Like, Painted Light is a community. It's not one guy's ideas. It's everyone saying like a very common phrase in the studio is, does this suck or is this good? Like, for this part. And then we all go through it. But to answer the trumpet question, there's not actually any trumpet on this record. Because we already had it done. And then Rick came in, and then it's just been like little things here and there. And we've been like, should there be something here? Should there be something there? But on the new record, we're writing it all together. So I know we're talking about this, 2 records from now, but that's how it goes. So Rick won't be on this EP, but
he will be on the live shows. So
he'll
everyone
be on the live shows,
check us out.
and he'll be on the next EP. And Rick's wife, I think, might actually be on the EP, which is funny. She might be talking on a part of one of the songs. So that's kind of funny, Rick. I'm sorry your wife's going to be on the EP with my wife, but you're not going to be on it trumpet.
That's crazy. Funny. Your wife made the record before the actual band member makes the record. But hey, you know what? Happy wife, happy life, man. As a married man myself, I understand. You gotta make the wife happy first,
Gotta try as hard as you can.
Consistency album too, so just a tiny bit.
Oh yeah, Ben's wife's on it. Yeah, in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, you're great, Rick. I wish we would have done the record. I wish we would have started recording the record later, but next one.
Good.
And also, speaking of live shows, later on this month, July 20th of 2024, in just a couple weeks, you'll be taking the stage at Andy's Bar out there in Dayton, Texas. I was wondering, how did you guys actually land on the bill for Plus Fest? And of course, where can our Texas fans actually get themselves some last-minute tickets to come on out and see Rick on that trumpet?
Dude, it's really sick. So how that happened, so that's in Denton, Texas, which is north of Fort Worth and Dallas. We've been on the radar for that festival for like a year and a half, and they were like, hey, can you do this festival? And we all looked at each other like when we found out, and we were like, hell yeah, we can do that festival.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, like all the bands on it are bands that we would actually, go listen to. They're like really, really intricate songwriting bands. So if you have a chance, check out all the bands that are playing on Plus Fest with us. They're fantastic, just absolutely awesome bands. You guys have anything else to say about Plus Fest? I just know we were on their radar, and then they had a spot.
What day are we on? Do you remember? Is it on a Saturday or Sunday?
We're on July 20th. Can't remember which day it is. But go to both days. If you're going to buy a ticket, like last year we didn't play.
Definitely check it out for both. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Andy's is a great venue too. We played it before, loved it, well received. So yeah.
I went last year, even though we weren't playing.
Come on by and check us out.
Yeah. You can buy tickets. I think if you go to the Plus Fest page, like Facebook or Instagram, just type in Plus Fest, and then it'll have the link there. The only thing about this festival is if you're wanting to go, from what I talked to the promoters, I think the capacity is much smaller this year than last year, just based on whatever venues were available. So when you look at that bill, if you're like, man, I gotta go, or you're like, I gotta see Painted Light, well, you should probably get your tickets pretty soon because it's in a couple weeks now.
Do it now.
It'll be great.
Yeah, get it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know if you guys ever saw Detroit Rock City, like that movie back in the day, but if you don't get your tickets and it's sold out, you might have to, like, just you and your friends have to beat each other up and then go to security and say someone jacked your tickets or something, man. You know what I mean? You got to pull that card to get in if you don't get the tickets now.
We have no problem doing an extra show if we need to.
Oh, yeah.
But also, speaking of another show as well that I actually saw on your guys' Instagram, I know this is right after summer, this is right into the fall, October 3rd. Jake, you will actually be doubling up for this show as well because Painted Light and Rookie of the Year are going to be on the same bill in the Woodlawn Theater in Burlingame, Alabama. I know it's a ways away, but there's always a replay of this interview, so hopefully somebody watches this interview around October and goes, hey, shit, let's go to this show. Can you tell us a bit more about the October 3rd, 2024 Rookie of the Year and Painted Light show?
Yeah, that show is going to be absolutely bonkers.
Keep in mind, it's also after the last Furnace Fest that will be there. So this is kind of like an end of an era for a lot of people that has gone to Furnace Fest. So yeah, we were a part of that a couple years ago and loved it. So yeah, go on, Jake. I'm sorry. I just wanted to at least say that, you know.
No, keep going. You're right on it.
That's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah. So, so Furnace Fest has always kind of been something that Painted Light does, or we're involved in one way or another, like with after parties or just attending just because we love it. All the bands there. So this year, it was going to be a chill acoustic session. And then I went to go talk to Ryan from Rookie about it. And I was like, hey, man, you want to do a song and stories session? Like where we're just sitting and talking about stuff, and we're going to get a couple other bands to do it with us, like some huge bands that were there. We're going to try and see if they want to come. And then we started talking about it, and Ryan said, hey, man, Dave from May's going to do it. And we're like, okay, cool. That'll be great. We love May. And then, like a week later, he's like, hey, Fred from The Color Fred and Say Anything and X Taking Back Sunday is going to be on it. And I'm like, that's super cool. And then like a week later, Brian was like, hey, by the way, Watashi Wa is going to be on it. Watashi Wa is the band that we played Furnace Fest after party with a couple of years ago. They're like, these are all like amazing punk or emo bands from back in the day that I've actually started re-releasing stuff, like new music that's just been amazing. So we cannot wait for that show, and we booked it at a more intimate venue on purpose. So that's going to be just, I don't know, like banger after banger after banger. And then we're opening that show as Painted. So I don't know. We love getting on stage with these bands that we've loved for years, and we love blowing the socks off of everyone who's never heard of us, or if they have heard of us, they're like, you know, they're just stoked to see us. So I can't wait for Ben. Wait, which way are you? No, there you are, Ben. I can't wait for Ben to blast them with like an intro song with his huge 7-string bass. I don't know if you've seen any pictures of Ben's bass, DJ Immortal, but he's got 7 strings, and I can't wait for Rick to blast the trumpet at the same time because it's nuts.
Yeah, I don't know if the fans can. I was saying, guys, I don't know if the fans can actually handle that. The trumpet and the 7-string bass. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just thinking about that and the hair standing up on my arms. So I don't know. Like, I'm just hearing it. I'm just hearing that idea and my hair standing up. I don't know if the real punk rock fans can handle that shit. I don't know, man. You gotta wean them on that, guys. You gotta wean them on that.
We dare you.
Right. Like he's sitting there, and everyone, like before we start, they're like, "What's going on? What? Who's 7 strings on that?" And then he very slowly and calmly brings people into it, and then he slams it with like a full 7 string chord on a bass, and it's insane. It's mind blowing. He's so good. The bass sounds so huge. And the trumpet sounds so huge, Rick. I'm sorry. I'm like fangirling over my band. I think that's a good.
Hey man, if that is okay, Jake. Because if I had my own band and I had a bass player that had 7 strings and I had a killer trumpet player, I'd fangirl too. I mean, it's understandable.
Yeah, and you haven't even met Brian. Brian is our drummer. I don't know. How do you guys describe Brian?
Brian came onto the scene. We had a drummer for the longest time, but he ended up having to move back to Indiana. And Brian happened to be in a project with Jake before we even got into it. So many years back, it was a band called Light and Ladder, and that's where they came from. And it was like, well, why not have Brian play along with us, because it's the same vibe. And he just came right in and played some shows and has been with us ever since. So we love Brian, and he adds just that extra something. It's cool because a lot of people, when they talk to us, they say they watch each of us differently. They'll watch Jake go nuts on a ukulele at the end, or watch me playing the 7-string bass, or watching Brian do fills on his drums, or out of nowhere Rick's throwing a line that you're like, whoa, where'd that come from? So it's really, really cool to see us live. That's what I'm saying. If you have the means to do it, I mean, check us out, because I think you'll have a great time.
Yeah. Brian,
I have to ask, guys, what is next? I was going to say, guys, what is next for Painted Light? Because obviously we talked about Plus Fest, we talked about the Woodlawn Theater show in October in Burlingame, and of course the new EP that you guys are actually currently polishing up. But aside from that, guys, what is next for Painted Light? Like, is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's interview that you guys still want to touch on, talk about, or promote?
guys, don't talk about it. I think you have what's in line. There's something that the biggest show that we've ever played that'll be announced later this year, and it might turn into a full tour. I can't say what it is. It's because it hasn't been announced by the band that we're opening for. But out of everything you've heard us say before, just know that it's pretty massive, even compared to everything we've talked about. So as far as what we've been doing as a band, we're trying to make everything really fun. So like this EP that comes out, we're going to be talking to a couple different labels. Like we already have one that's going to check it out once it's done, that we just really, 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 and we're going to see like about management for it too. We might see about using some of the same sources that Ricky uses, because we're all friends now, and doing it independent. But we're going to be, once the EP comes out, we're really just going to be trying to go full steam ahead on very, very, very lucrative tours. I don't even mean like financially lucrative, although that would be great. I just mean like every show. We want it to be absolutely insane. Every tour that we're on, we want it to be absolutely insane. Just because, I don't know, we've gotten to the point where the music that we're putting out and the shows that we're doing are getting recognized, and we just honestly, we just need to get more stuff out there and kind of make more friends, because we have a blast like every time we play a show, and it seems to go great. Just as, I mean, you can see from this interview, like, these guys are fantastic guys, and that goes a long way beyond the music. But then just the fact that if I look at Rick's doing the best thing in the world and I can stop playing, if I look at Ben's doing the best thing in the world, and I could totally stop playing. It's the best show ever. And then if we look at Brian, same thing. So we're just, we're waiting on like massive stuff. What the plan would be, if all goes exactly how we want it, we'd want to be opening a pretty solid tour either by the end of this year, which is kind of the date we're talking about, or sometime early next year. And as a band, we're pretty patient just because we want it to work fantastically instead of just taking every single show that, comes our way, which they come to us all the time, which is great, but we want it to be impactful and fantastic. Do you guys have anything else to say about that? I'm just always like thinking like that all the time.
I mean, just to add that we are still writing material as well. I mean, we do have new stuff that we're working on, a couple things that we're tweaking with new things. But I mean, we're still very much active, very much. We love each other as brothers, and we are going to continue to rock on in that manner. And to those that do listen to us or have heard us, thank you to the bottom of our hearts, because we are doing this for you guys. I mean, we pour our hearts out and everything, and if it hits with somebody and they relate to that, we did our job. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for enjoying it. More to come. Hopefully, we'll have nowhere to go but up. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, we have a sneak preview of where the next tour dates would probably be whenever we get that booked, which might line up with when the album comes out. So we were Painted Light was actually already booking tour for this summer before Rookie called me up, and then we talked about it, and we were like, I think this makes sense. Rookie's a great opportunity. Love those guys. So it was like, might as well do that since we don't have the album out yet. But the tour date,
and spread the word, spread the word while you're out there too. So we're all
it's been awesome. Yeah. So the tour dates that we were doing were previously booked that we postponed was Oklahoma City, Wichita, Kansas, Hayes, Kansas, Denver, Colorado, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then Amarillo. So it's like kind of a small week-long tour. And then depending on how much things start to expand, like on Spotify, if you look on Spotify, you can see what cities people are listening to your band in. And sometimes we just look at that and we're like, hey, there's a ton of people that listen to Painted Light in Denver. So we got to do a show in Denver. So in Canada, I mean, heck.
I would love to play Canada. We would love to go up there and play for you guys. I think Canada and us will go hand in hand. I mean, it would be amazing. What an amazing show. What an amazing place.
We spitballed that idea, Ben, about playing Canada next summer, just so we don't have to be in the Texas heat.
I will just got to put it to you like this, guys. Canada summer gets pretty hot as well. We don't get 109 degrees like you got it down there, but I will say we do get relatively hot down here in Canada. So if you guys are going to play Canada and you want to get away from the heat, come down in around October. That's when our fall hits. Yeah. So it's just beautiful spring weather. So make sure you come in October. Don't come in on July or August, because then you're going to be like, what the hell? Like we literally left Texas to escape this. Now we're here.
We were told it was going to be cold here.
There.
Do what?
How hot does it get in Canada in July and stuff?
So July is when it starts to get really hot, I would say. So we go by Celsius down here. So I would say like the highest we get in July is like 32 to 35. And when I say 35 degrees, I'm talking probably like 90 degrees. I would say that's 90 degrees out your way. Right. But that's like that's when we have heat waves, right? But August is more of dry. It's like we don't get a lot of rain. It's like desert type heat. So we get like maybe 35 degrees, but it's non-stop in August. It's just pure dryness. Well, I'm also in Ontario, guys. So I mean, in Ontario, we could get a thunderstorm, rain, hail, sun, and cloud all in the course of 4 hours. You'd be like, what the hell? Is like Mother Nature on her rag or something? Like she's all over the place. Like Ontario weather is insane. But I will say August is the driest month for heat. And then things start kind of cooling down in September, and then so on, and then December. I mean, it's just a shit storm of snow. So.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
How is it in March or April?
March isn't too bad. March and April is more of like when our spring starts, so it's more of just like slushy, rainy, damp. You know, not too cold, but not hot either. It's still kind of like it's in the pluses, but it's kind of like +2, +3 degrees. So you're just getting out of winter, so it's all slush and rain, and like they always say, April showers brings May flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So is May too hot?
Here, yeah.
Is May too hot yet? Like
No.
I'm seriously planning this in our tour schedule for next year.
I guess, like I said, down here, weather fluctuates, but I would say May isn't too hot. We do tend to get some heat waves in May, but I would say late April, very early May is probably the best time to come down to Canada if you want to escape the heat.
Okay.
So just so you know, in Texas, the summer heat wave starts in May and it ends in November. So we basically have 2 seasons in Texas. It's cold and then it's blistering hot the rest of the year.
So essentially, the moment the heat waves ends, that the heat waves end in Texas, y'all put up your Christmas trees by the sounds of it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we won't even want to put it out sometimes because it's too hot. Depending on how it goes.
Before we actually part ways here tonight, guys, I have to ask. Obviously, I know how to follow you on social media because, of course, it's where we got connected and set up this interview. But for the individuals here in Canada that might just be discovering Painted Light, how can we go about following not only Painted Light as a band, but yourself, Jake, Rick, and Benjamin as well?
Yeah, so Painted Light TX is where we are on Instagram.
Right.
Also, if you look for us on TikTok, TikTok's pretty cool just because I guess everyone finds out about bands on TikTok. So follow our TikTok too. That's really popping right now. And then my Instagram is Jake from Painted Light. And then Rick.
My Instagram handle, it's Thick Rick. You can find me on Instagram.
I don't even know my name.
Thick.
Is it like Law Benjamin or something like that, or it's one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, if you click on our Instagram, Painted Light TX, then it's got all of us listed there, including Brian, our drummer.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'll see me with the glorious, very heavy 7-string bass. So Ben's nuts. In a good way. That's the point. No, in all ways.
Sorry.
I never said the same.
But I gotta say, first and foremost, guys, thank you so much for giving not only myself but the radio station Airways a bit of your time. Jake, thank you so much for giving us as well your time on tour. Sorry, and shout out to Rookie of the Year for stealing you away for a little bit. Rick, thank you so much, man, for your time. And Benjamin, again, thank you for your time as well. It was such an honor talking with you three.
Thank you, Canada. We love you.
We gotta thank our family. So thanks to my wife, thanks to my kids for letting us do any of this cool stuff. Ben, do you want to thank anyone?
I just want to thank Canada. Thank you guys so much for having us on. We really look forward to being up there soon to play for you guys, and follow us, listen to us, tell us what you think. If it sucks, let us know that too. I mean, we're human, but I hope you guys like it. So check it out. We're on Spotify. We're all on all the platforms, iTunes, and all that kind of stuff. So check it out. Let us know. Keep in touch with us.
Just to finish up with what Ben and Jake said. Yeah, thank you all for listening, and thank you all for checking us out, and maybe telling a friend about us, or if you like a song, like Ben said, just go ahead and send us a message to Painted Light Instagram, and let us know what you think.
Yeah. Say either we're sick or you make us sick, but just let us know either way. We'd love to hear from you.
Come out to one of our shows in Denton, Texas, this month, or our show at Furnace Fest, just a pre-party there, and then also come out and say hi at any of the Rookie of the Year shows Everyone always comes up to me and talks to me about Painted Light. So we love to talk about Painted Light a lot. Yeah.
So.
But guys, thank you so much again, Jake, Rick, and Benjamin. It was an honor talking to you three. Safe travels on tour as well, guys. We definitely shall talk soon. But for now, have yourselves a phenomenal night out there in Ohio and, of course, Texas as well.
Rock on, Canada. Rock on.
Thank you.
Love you, Rick. Love you, Ben.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.